This is Adam Gorney. Signing day coverage continues on Rivals, now joined by SMU coach Rhett Lashlee. And Rhett, I do wonder, going to the playoff and making it there, how has that just kind of sparked recruiting, sparked interest, and I don't want to say legitimized, but just really got you even more on the map with kids, especially in state?
Yeah, I think it definitely validated the move and all the momentum behind our program that we feel like we have. You know, recruiting's weird. Like today's signing class really is already a byproduct of last season.
Yeah.
And the 26 class is when we'll really feel the bump from the CFP season, which we've already noticed a big jump in just the kind of guys, caliber players we're recruiting. But, you know, there's a lot of excitement moving to the ACC and coming off a championship year. And we felt like we had a lot of momentum to go out and recruit high school kids in Texas at a different level than we've been able to before. And I think this class confirms that. And hopefully this season will help the next class as well.
And playing off that, I'm certainly don't want to bring up a sore subject, but did you ever think a 56-yard field goal would be what took you down in the ACC? Did you ever, as that is going through, think that my playoff chances were gone? And then going to State College when it was so freezing cold, did you even hope that maybe that wasn't the spot?
Yeah, you know, we had opportunities to not have to go to State College if we had just played better in the first quarter of the Clemson game, or you know, kicked the ball out of the end zone or covered a kick late. We had a lot of momentum going into potential overtime. But no, I didn't think we'd lose on a 56-yard field goal to a team who has a kicker who'd had, I don't know, however many he'd had blocked. And credit to them, man. It was a no-doubter when it left his foot. And my headset was off well before it went through the uprights, because it was kind of those, once it left his foot, it was good. But it was a great football game. And was really proud of the way our guys came back. And then, yeah, I mean, to get in still and go on the road, that's part of it. We had the right to get a bye, and we didn't, so we had to go on the road. And I mean, the elements were what they were. That's not why we got beat. It wasn't the cold or the crowd. It was we played good enough football on defense to win, and we played really, really poor on offense and didn't really give ourselves a chance. Hopefully that'll help us when we get there in the future, get back on that stage. We'll handle it a little bit better.
Let's talk some recruiting and maybe your philosophy. There are so many kids in Texas. I mean, just right there in Dallas, you could probably create an entire recruiting class, but there are a lot of schools there too that are coming in, that are there. Does recruiting go inside out from Texas and out? Because you did a great job in California as well. What's kind of the philosophy on where you're going to go for guys?
Yeah, it's definitely an inside out approach. You know, we call it the state of Dallas is really our home state. That's the 11 counties that make up the Dallas Metroplex here. And, you know, we have the blessing of being the only Division I Power 4 school within 30 miles of downtown Dallas. And so, now, to your point, the Metroplex is arguably every year is one of the top, if not the top, areas in churning out Division I talent. So it's very competitive. There's a lot of really good schools just in the state of Texas alone, much less out-of-state schools. And so, but our move to the ACC has allowed us to make Dallas and the state of Texas high school a bigger priority now. We don't have to build our program through the transfer portal. We can supplement it that way, and we're still a transfer destination. So that's going to be our focus. You know, I think you can see we signed 11 players from the DFW area. That's the most of any school in the country. We signed 18 players from the state of Texas. We signed 19 high school players and only 14 transfers. So that's starting to shift as well. To your point on the California piece, I mean, we'll go regionally or nationally where we need to. You know, the unique thing about SMU is our second largest student body population comes from Southern California after Texas. So kids from Southern California come to school here, and so here or there we'll get a couple guys, but we're gonna build our team and make our identity here in Texas and in Dallas.
We always want to talk quarterbacks. Ty Hawkins is a very good one and seems to fit your system. How much of going after him and flipping him was fit the system, and then how much of that was just he's a damn good quarterback?
Both. You know, we're looking for system and fit. You know, we're lucky to be in the state of Texas where you can usually find great quarterbacks, and then he's pretty good, you know, and we had another quarterback from the state committed for a long time, and he went to Alabama, heck of a deal. And, you know, him and Ty were always the guys we wanted. Ty recruited early on in the process. Committed early on in the process to TCU. So we went a different direction, but when it opened back up, the timing was right. Derek King did a phenomenal job just building that relationship and showing Ty that offensively, you know, I think we fit his skill set. And I know Ty's comfortable with Dallas in the area. His sister ran track here. So it ended up being a really good situation, I think, for both. And we're really excited to see what he can do. He's already on campus.
One of the guys I was really impressed with at the Navy All-American Bowl in San Antonio just a couple weeks ago was Jalen Cooper. Just a phenomenal receiver. We moved way up in our rankings. What did you see from him early on to get him kind of locked in? And as in a state that has been loaded with receivers this year, he looks like maybe had been a sleeper, but not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we signed 4 high school receivers from the state of Texas, and that was a big deal because we lost 4 senior receivers to graduation. And for us to be able to go do it that way and not have to go to the transfer portal is a big point of emphasis. I think Rob Likens and Ryan Jenkins, our receivers coaches, did a nice job because that Jalen's recruiting was a long process. It was a relationship deal. But to your point, I think we got the 2 best receivers in Texas, and Jalen Cooper and Dalen Singleton, that are already on our campus. What Jalen did, he's the route king is his Twitter handle. Well, that's what you stand out about him. He's a phenomenal route runner for that age. Super smart, super gifted. A guy like Dalen's a dog, and that's not counting Carterius Brown and Isaiah Robertson here from the DFW area. So we feel like we got the right fits, really good players in Texas. And to your point, Ty and Jalen Cooper both scored the only touchdowns in the Army game. So we feel like we got guys that can compete right away.
He's route king. I might have been Burger King at some point. I mean, I'll take whatever king I could get, right? So last question, Rhett, and this is the most important one. Your feelings on the Luca Doncic trade and just the sort of mourning that's going on in the town. What are your thoughts and just your take on the whole thing?
I'm always careful because I don't like being critical of coaches or other sports people because, shoot, that's what I do. And everybody's got an opinion on me, good or bad. And, but man, it hurts. It hurts our city. It hurts because he wanted to be here. It hurts because he's arguably the best player in the world right now, definitely the top scorer in the world. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to the average person. It doesn't make a lot of sense to sports people. So I hope it works out in the end for both him and for our city. I'm definitely no basketball expert, and I probably need to stay in my lane. But it is sad. And to your point, each day goes by, it gets a little more sad because you just think about, one person can alter the course of a franchise and a future Hall of Famer's career in a way that maybe none of us saw coming. So I hope it works out for both, but man, it's hard to connect the dots right now.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and it's taken over the sports world. So, Rhett, I appreciate you joining us today on Rivals.
Thanks, Adam.